bringing islands together. NatWest, sponsors of the NatWest Island Games 2013.
Good evening and welcome to part 2 of our NatWest Island Games review, all the way from the gorgeous island of Bermuda. If you missed part 1, these were some of the highlights of the opening ceremony and the first 2 days of competition. Bermuda 2013 opened up with a bang.
Bermuda!
There was team gold in triathlon and shooting, and great performances in swimming and squash. Coming up tonight, Eloise Magnasco goes for gold in air rifle. Colin Bensadon targets medals in the pool. And we'll recap how all of our sports fared at Bermuda 2013. Badminton got things underway on day 3 at the Bermuda High School. Sevelan Gordon and Alison Avellano made the last 16 of the women's doubles before being stopped in their tracks by a strong pair from the Faroe Islands. 18-year-old James Linares came up against top seed Bror Madsen of Greenland in the opening round of the men's singles. James did well to win 24 points during the game against such quality opposition, but did eventually go down in straight sets. Casper Tajassen provided perhaps Gibraltar's highlight on the badminton court, reaching the last 16 of the men's singles in what has always been a very competitive event. He eventually lost to Jens Nielsen of Greenland, but was happy with his display.
Very happy. I was hoping from the start that I would get through to the third round because I had a good draw. I was meeting a guy from Isle of Wight, which I knew I could beat on a good day, and I did so fairly comfortable. So I'm very happy that I got through to the third round. Yeah. In the third round, I'm meeting a seeded player from Greenland, and I knew it would be a hard game. So I knew I had to get my best game. First set was not too good, but second set I got my game going, and actually I was close to take the second set.
Casper's played very well. He's upped his game. But they've all been training hard. But what I'm most pleased about is that coming from a situation where we're all the time training just amongst ourselves, so we know each other so well, the ins and outs and how well people play, that to come over here and play who are relative strangers to us, and to step up to that level, they're really, really good.
4 of Gibraltar's gold medal-winning triathletes were back on their bikes for the men's individual time trial in cycling. The event was full of big names, among them Greg Mansell of Jersey, Guernsey's Tobin Horton, and defending champion Andrew Roach of the Isle of Man, all of whom boast professional experience and would often race at speeds exceeding 60 kilometers an hour. The course stretched over 40 kilometres of road close to Clearwater Beach along the Eastern Cape, much of which was used for the cycling phase of Sunday's triathlon. For Gibraltar's quartet of Robert Mato, Sigurd Haviland, Chris Walker and Mark Francis, the test would be stern. Anything in the top 25 was a major achievement. Things looked good early on for Chris Walker, who showed solid form and looked on course to threaten the top 20 before disaster struck.
Well, we had 6 laps to do in the cycling time trial, each one 7.25 kilometres, and I was having a good race. I felt I was performing well. I was even splitting every lap. On the final lap of the 6th lap, it's halfway through, so I basically had 4 kilometres to go. There was a rider in front of me, about 70 metres in front, who went round a corner. She unfortunately fell off and forgot to move out of the way. Despite me shouting at her, she proceeded to stand in the middle of the road with her bike. So I basically had two choices: hit her or go into the wall. And I chose to try and avoid her and hit the wall and flew through the air and did a lot of damage to the bike and to my body.
A disappointing and expensive crash for Chris, who was brought back down to earth with a bump after Sunday's gold in triathlon. Gibraltar's other riders did manage to safely navigate their way along the course. Veteran Sigurd Haviland was the pick of the bunch, finishing 31st in 1 hour, 8 minutes and 11 seconds. Mark Francis was 34th in 1:13.55, while Robert Madel was 35th in 1:14.13. The event was again won by Andrew Roach, who recorded his 4th consecutive Island Games time trial win in a run stretching back to the Shetland Islands in 2005. The winning time was quick, 56 minutes and 44 seconds. Back in the pool, Island Games debutantes Kate McCulloch and Cristina Linares continued having fun. Kate set a new personal best in the 200 breaststroke, while Cristina set a new best time in the 100-metre backstroke.
A lot I've experienced, now have more experience for next Island Games, so yeah, I've enjoyed myself a lot. I wasn't expecting seeing those times at all. I was thinking, oh, maybe, you know, like, it won't be that hard. I saw the times and I was like, okay, maybe a bit hard, but hopefully next Island Games, maybe into the finals.
It's been pretty amazing, yeah. I've enjoyed it a lot. But all you want in the end is to get a PB at that point. Maybe 2 years' time, try and get in the finals, but until then, it's just do your best.
Coach Joe Santos' young crop did well across the board on Tuesday. There were PBs for Bodine Redman in the 800 freestyle, Sean Pardo in the 100 butterfly, and for Carl Pardo in the 200 freestyle. Meanwhile, James Sanderson set a new national record of 57.16 to reach the final of the 100 butterfly.
Yeah, it was a national record again, beat the time I did in December by a whole second actually, so that was really good. Feeling good.
Colin Bensadon qualified for the final of the 50-metre breaststroke with a time of 30.9 seconds. Unfortunately, John-Paul Janelo just missed out on qualification. There was another national record in qualifying for the 4x50-metre freestyle relay for the quartet of Bensadon, Sanderson, Janelo and Oliver Quick ahead of the evening finals. Elsewhere, there was heartbreak for Jeremy Bohio on the tennis court. He lost the first set of his opening men's singles match with Scott Weaver of Jersey 6-4 and was definitely in the hunt in set 2 before turning his ankle and retiring hurt. He'd spend the next 2 days on crutches. But there was more luck in squash. Anthony Brindle and Adam Newnham made the semi-finals of the men's doubles before losing to Jersey. They lost the opening set of the bronze medal match against Bermuda before bouncing back to win the next two 15-11 and 15-9. Third place in the event matched their success in the Isle of Wight 2 years ago.
It was 3 tough matches in the day, and the final one that we had for the bronze medal was a real tough battle, 1-0 down, and we managed to pull it back and get there, so we were well chuffed.
It's really good to get bronze for squash, for everything that, well, stuff that my dad puts into it and everyone else on the club, so it's really good to get bronze, yeah, especially after the disappointment of not getting it for the singles the day before. It was nice doing it.
On the running track, Kim Baglietto lined up for the women's 1500 metres. Her preparation for the games had been going well before suffering a shin injury. Things started okay for Kim in the race. She kept close in with the main pack over the first 400 metres and looked comfortable at the halfway mark. Then things began to get difficult as Ellie Mackenzie of the Western Isles and Sarah Mercier of Guernsey turned up the heat on the rest of the field. Mackenzie took gold in 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Kim trailed in 9th in a time of 5:03.
It was a really hard race with about 2 laps to go. They just had this extra gear and I just couldn't keep up. I mean, the miles worked well throughout the winter because I had quite a good level of stamina, but the injury and has completely hampered my training up to the track season. So I gave him a shot. I'm not particularly happy, but I tried my best.
As day 3 of competition neared its end, there was a medal surge for Team Gibraltar. Jonathan Padron shot a great score of 5.51 out of 600 to win bronze in the 10-metre air pistol event, and within hours had teamed up with newcomer Daniel Bayas to win another bronze in the 25-metre rapid-fire team event, where they were pipped to gold and silver by Gotland and Jersey. Over at the National Sports Centre pool, there was a feeling this could be Gibraltar's night. James Sanderson touched in 7th in the final of the 100-metre butterfly. He was disappointed, but the final was strong. Gold and silver were taken by Sean and Brett Fraser of the Cayman Islands, swimmers who've trained with the full USA team and who won 16 medals between them at Bermuda. Meanwhile, Colin Bensadon was 8th in the 50-metre breaststroke final in a time of 30.86, but his main focus was fixed on the 400 metres individual medley. And he was in the hunt from the time the butterfly was done. He kept in touch with leader Felix Gifford of the Shetland Islands during the backstroke and then consolidated second place over the breaststroke. As the crowd rose to its feet, Colin dug in deep to touch in with a new national record time of 4 minutes 30.97, and more importantly, a silver medal.
Obviously feeling over the moon, you know, it's not just with the medal but also with the time. It's a national record and it was a record which I knew would be tough to break again, so yeah, feeling great. To be honest, that's not what the main focus, you know. We know that here there's a very high standard and the difference between bronze and 4th can be very slim, as we saw yesterday, you know. So no, I mean the focus wasn't on the medal, it was just on swimming fast, and then, you know, you hope for the best.
And amidst the elation came the realisation that Gibraltar's medal tally had risen during the day to 8, with 2 golds, 2 silvers and 4 bronze medals already on the board. Wednesday was Women's Singles Day on the badminton court. Alison Avellano reached the last 16, while Severland Gordon went out in the round of 32. Veteran Ivan De Aro, making his 11th and final Island Games appearance, marked his curtain call alongside Kasper Tajassen in the men's doubles. The pair reached the quarter-final and played an outstanding match against top seeds Paul Le Toc and Kevin Lemoyne of Guernsey. In a high-quality game, they went down in straight sets 21-17, 21-13, but left with their heads held very high. It was a fun and satisfying way for Ivan to bow out of the Island Games.
Hopefully carry on doing the badminton setup. As president, there's definitely loads of things that we've got to do. It is emotional. I mean, we're just talking now to a girl from Guernsey. It's also her 10th games and it's also her last one. You know, so there's a lot of similarities there. The difference between her and me is that she's got loads of gold medals under her belt.
The stalwart of badminton. He's been an ambassador for Gibraltar in badminton terms, and if I cannot convince him to stay, then of course we will miss him dearly. You know, he's the sort of person that it doesn't matter whether it's in training or in competition, he never ever gives up. Always gives 100%, always wants to win, always encourages. And for me, I mean, obviously he's in the local level. I mean, he's been nationals champion for many years, and he comes out here and he's got the respect of most of the players here in the Island Games as well. You walk on against an Ivan De Aro and they know they're going to have to work hard to beat him. So yeah, we'll miss him dearly if, as I say, I can't convince him to stay for one more.
Another medal came in shooting early on Wednesday. Jonathan Padron and Daniel Payas functioning tremendously as a pair to win a brilliant silver in the 25-metre standard fire team event, where they were again beaten by Gotland, who won no fewer than 14 golds in shooting across the week. Over at the Bermuda Tennis Club in 32-degree heat, there was a tough draw for James Taylor and Johan Valverde, who were knocked out of the quarterfinals of the men's doubles in straight sets by the Jersey pair of Scott Clayton and James Donnelly, who'd go on to win the event. In the ladies' doubles, Lee Whitwell and Danielle Whitfield came up against stern opposition in the form of the Bermudian pair, Jacqueline and Tara Lambert. They lost their match 6-1, 6-4.
What do you think went wrong on the day?
I don't know, just maybe a combination of nerves and too many errors, too many mistakes on my part, I think. A bit disappointed, but I don't know, I guess I know now what to improve on. Yeah.
Lee's been around for 20-something years. You're her latest doubles partner. What's it like for you to play with her?
Oh, it was great fun. It really was good to play with her. I feel I could have done better. I feel I've let her down a bit, but it was really great to play with her.
Back in the water, there were personal bests in the morning session for Jordan Gonzalez, who swam a time of 1 minute 08:09 in the heat of the 100 metres individual medley. Also for Bodine Redman in the 400 metre freestyle, Kate McCulloch in the 100 breaststroke, and Ollie Quick in the 100 freestyle. James Sanderson had a great morning, setting new national records of 53.39 in the heats of the 100 freestyle and also 25.83 in the 50 butterfly, the second of which qualified him for the evening finals. He'd eventually go slower than that in the final, where he again came up against the might of the Fraser brothers from the Caymans, swimming a time of 26.22, but it was another great effort from the 20-year-old. Colin Bensadon relinquished his berth in the 200-metre backstroke final to concentrate on the 4x100-metre medley relay, and the tactic seemed to work as he teamed up with Gonzalez, Quick and Sanderson to finish 6th in a new national record of 4 minutes and 2 seconds. The race was won by a powerful Guernsey squad, which would dominate events in the pool alongside Bermuda and the Caymans. Out on the water, Gibraltar's sailors were taking in perhaps the most spectacular views of the island available. Races were held just off the north shore of the island at Spanish Point, and there was concern there wouldn't be enough wind during the week to sustain racing. In the event, conditions were just about okay, and after day 3, Brian Brophy and Stephen Lawson lay 14th and 15th in the laser standard class, while 17-year-old Adam Alcantara was 12th in the laser radial class. Sally Naldrett was 18th. Gibraltar's final chance of a medal on day 4 of competition came in athletics. Carl Baldacchino ran a good time of 54.13 in the heat of the 400 metres, but failed to make the final. Hopes were high for Kelvin Gomez, whose training regime at the University of Loughborough has been rigorous in the last year, believed to be good enough to put him in the hunt for a medal in the 5,000 metres. The opening 2 kilometres couldn't have gone much better for Kelvin. He looked comfortable within the pack, while weaker runners began to fall away. And it was the same story through 3,000 metres as Kelvin continued to stay in contention. But as a hot and humid evening began to tighten its grip on the runners, the quicker athletes began to turn the screw. Unfortunately, Kelvin couldn't respond to a surge in pace. Lolo Hughes of Innis Mon won the sprint to the line in a good time of 15 minutes and 34 seconds. Kelvin was 6th in 15:57.
I think I've left myself down a little bit on that race. I was hoping to perform much better. According to how I've been training, I should have been with a pack to the end. There's nothing I can say really. Don't want to say I've got a lot of jet lag or anything like that. It's up to my performance really. It's up to me what I've done. So just get back to recovery slightly a bit and then now hit the half marathon.
There was hope too in the women's 5,000 metres, 38-year-old Emma Montiel making her Island Games debut and making the trip as an unknown quantity. It seemed as though only she and coach Avelino Baldacchino really knew how good her chances were of winning a medal, and after a good start, we began to see why. At the 3,000-metre mark, the bronze medal was there for the taking. And although Guernsey's Sarah Mercier delivered a masterclass in distance running to destroy the field en route to winning gold, Emma more than clung on to claim bronze.
And a bronze for Gibraltar in the hands of Emma Montiel.
It's a new event. I've never been to the Island Games. I've done 5K before, but this is a completely new environment. The weather was, hotter than I'm usually used to, but everybody's in the same boat. So I just had to come out here and try my best, and it paid off.
At what stage in the race, very grueling and tough it was, at what stage did you think to yourself, that medal's mine?
Probably the last 200-300 metres. When I heard the bell, then I thought, just make the most of it and see what you can do. But yeah, I'm overjoyed, absolutely thrilled.
Emma's achievement brought Gibraltar's medal count up to 10, 2 gold, 3 silver and 5 bronze.
Bringing islands together. NatWest, sponsors of the NatWest Island Games 2013.
Bermuda, a paradise in the sun measuring 53 square kilometres and home to 65,000 Bermudians. Despite being separated by 5,500 kilometres and 5 time zones, the similarities between Gibraltar and Bermuda are fairly abundant. We're both British and have been for centuries. We share a language, colonial architecture, and also a rich military history. One of Bermuda's major landmarks is the Royal Naval Dockyard. Built in the 19th century, it was the Navy's main base in the Western Atlantic up until the start of the Cold War and played an important role during both World Wars. Abandoned fully in 1958, it's now a major tourist attraction. Another legacy of its colonial history is the national dress. Bermuda shorts and socks, worn like so. We may be inclined to go to work in a jacket, tie and trousers. Over here, it's a jacket, tie shorts and socks. Our friend Michael, who runs the English sports shop in the capital city of Hamilton, explains the history behind the dress.
The origin of the Bermuda shorts was by the British Army in India, and they discovered that it was far too hot in the hot climates to wear long pants, so they decided to cut them into shorts. At that time they found that in the bush their legs were getting cut, so then they introduced the long socks, which is a typical British Army of the period 1850. Somewhere along the line the troops came to Bermuda and they were housed in barracks where the National Stadium is quite close, and the Bermudians took up this tradition, turned it into a dress which is world famous. The actual Bermuda short itself is much more tapered than a regular short. It's comes down like this. It's not baggy like a short. It has pleats or no pleats. It has a 3-inch hem. But the real reason of Bermuda shorts is the long socks. Without the long socks, it's nothing.
Bermuda's major selling point for tourism is, without doubt, its selection of beaches. There are hidden coves, bays and private beaches all over the island, while its more well-known beaches are often rated among the best in the world.
Bermuda is renowned for its beaches, and people come from all around the world, especially America and Canada, to come and enjoy them. The most famous is here at Horseshoe Bay, where they say the sand is pink, and if you walk high enough, the view out to the Atlantic Ocean, as you can see, is just absolutely gorgeous.
Horseshoe Bay is Bermuda's jewel in the crown, lying on the island's south coast. It's a haven for snorkeling and diving, and the view is always good. Look who we found at the beach, our swim team, and for some reason, they were quite happy to see us. Two things that most of us who are in Bermuda will definitely remember will be the warmth of the Bermudian people and also their sense of pride in their own island. It truly is a paradise in the sun. Spirit was high in the Team Gibraltar camp at the start of day 5 of competition, and with good reason. Medals were likely in at least 2 sports on the day, as the team looked to inch its way towards a medal tally of 16 won in the Isle of Wight 2 years ago. Athletics had an early start with the men's and women's 200 metres. 15-year-old Zian Hook, making her Island Games debut, was 5th in her heat in 28.69, in a strong race won by Bermuda's Cheyenne Smith, the golden girl of the Games, who'd go on to win a total of 5 gold medals.
I found it a great experience. For the 100 I got a personal best, and I'm hoping that I did for the 200 as well.
Sean Collado was 6th in his heat, running a good bend en route to a strong time of 24.87.
I felt great this morning. It was a good race. I had some of the fastest people in my heat, so they pushed me, but they were quite a bit in front of me, so I just did my best.
Geray Torres had high hopes in the 200 and he didn't disappoint. He was given a difficult lane draw but did well, cling on to gold medal favourite Harold Houston of Bermuda to finish 3rd in the race in a time of 22.74. And the time would be good enough for him to qualify for the final as a fastest loser. Next door at the National Sports Centre pool, our young swimmers continue to impress on their final day of competition. 18-year-old Carl Pardo was 12th quickest in qualifying for the 400-metre freestyle, with a new personal best of 4 minutes and 19 seconds. 16-year-old Kalen Bias swam his first and only race of Bermuda, smashing his own personal best in the 400 free by a full 10 seconds, touching in 17th quickest in 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Cristina Linares set herself another new PB, swimming a time of 1 minute 03.22 in the 100-metre freestyle. Jordan Gonzalez, who set a new national record for the 50 backstroke 2 days earlier, was 16th quickest in qualifying for the 100-metre backstroke. Gibraltar's swim team comprised 9 swimmers under the age of 20, and all of them were happy with their Island Games experience.
I'm happy. I've got some PBs in like my main events, and then today I didn't really get a PB, but I'm not really too worried about that one so much. I should be, but not really. I'm more worried about my races myself, like long distance races. But those I got a PB, so I'm happy with those.
This year I tried to qualify for the Commonwealth, which is in next year. And for the 200, I was only about a bit more than a second off. I've still got 5 months to do it, so I think possibly, hopefully, with a bit of luck, I can get there.
This time I'm a lot more experienced in the sport as well. Last time I was I didn't know what I was doing half the time. I wasn't as well versed in some of my races. Now, yeah, I think I know more or less what I'm doing.
It was amazing, great experience to be in a team, where you get cheered at and just everyone's really supportive. Without them, without the team, I believe that I wouldn't have been able to qualify for the Commonwealth or to achieve the national record, because I had the help from them, the amount of support that they gave me, and I mean in general, the whole team.
It's amazing. Over here, the atmosphere is out of this world. For the first time, I'm shocked to be on one of these big games. I've dropped 12 seconds, so I'm over the moon.
Also in the morning session, James Sanderson missed out on the final of the 50-metre freestyle by just 0.02 of a second, finishing 9th quickest. Colin Benzadon would fly the flag at the evening finals, qualifying 3rd fastest for the final of the 200-metre breaststroke. All eyes would be on him during the evening session. Back on the tennis court, another medal in a sport that's yielded Team Gibraltar no fewer than 42 medals in our Island Games history. The pairings of Sofia Bengtsson-Serne and Jeremy Bohio, and also James Taylor and Neil Whitfield, lost out in the quarterfinals of the mixed doubles to Åland and the Isle of Man. But the evergreen pair of Lee Whitwell and Johan Valverde brushed aside another of the Isle of Man teams to move into the semi-finals. They'd come up against another Isle of Man pairing, Laura Feely and Billy Harris, the latter of whom won gold in the men's singles earlier that day and also took part of the Wimbledon Juniors tournament just 2 weeks earlier. The big serving Harris made life tough for Lee and Johan in the opening set, which the Isle of Man took 6-2. Gibraltar rallied in the second set and were in a good position to take the match to a deciding tiebreak before Feely and Harris tightened the screw on the match and ran out 6-2, 6-3 winners. A great display from Lee and Johan, who walked away not just with a bronze, but also plenty of mutual admiration.
Pointed because we were nearly there. It's just a few points, here and there, and obviously I'm happy with the bronze. But we just lacked those points.
Lee, the Isle of Man player, we understand, has got a world ranking, very strong serve as well. What was it like to be on the other side of the court?
Well, when we could get a racket on his serve, the racket shook in our hands. But no, I mean he's a very good player. He hits the ball. He hits a very heavy ball, solid ball, and our reflexes were there, and we did defend well. His serve is, he's 8'3" and serving at 300 miles an hour, and it makes it a little tough. But I think that we gave it our best, and like Johan said, it was a few points, and it's a little distracting playing on the court with Johan because he's so sexy, and I think that brought my game down a bit.
Johan, it's got to be said that Lee's a bit of a goddess when it comes to Gibraltar tennis. What's it like to play alongside her? Is it a burden or is it something that you've enjoyed?
I really enjoyed it. Really, it's been funny along, all the training we've had, and excellent. Really enjoyed it. Privilege to play with her.
Likewise, I've thoroughly enjoyed playing with him. I'm sad that we didn't have one more match, but I look forward to playing with him again.
For Lee, Bermuda marked the end of an era. Gibraltar's most decorated Island Games athlete, she accumulated 12 gold medals in an Island Games career spanning 20 years, including 5 at the Sunshine Games in Gibraltar in 1995.
Excellent. It's a little shocking when I look back. It's been a great 20 years, a lot of medals, a lot of great memories, and this Games, even though we delivered, we got bronzes, we came up a little bit short, but I'm extremely proud of the team that we brought and the memories that we created this week. It's been great.
And looking back at the 90s in particular, when you won singles, doubles, mixed doubles, team events, was that really the high point for you in the Island Games?
No, I think every Island Games has its own high points, and it's when you win all the medals, it's great. But when you look back on it, it's about representing Gibraltar and the memories you make in the week. And the medals are a bonus. But every Island Games is unique and different, and each has its own high points.
And you've been very busy down the years. You have a tennis career in America, but you always find time to come and compete for Gibraltar. What keeps you coming back?
I'm a Gibraltarian at heart, and any opportunity I have to represent Gibraltar, I will jump at it in a heartbeat, no questions asked.
Over on the clay shooting range at a venue known locally as The Finger, Harry Murphy and James Sawyer competed in the individual automatic ball trap event. It was a tale of two different scorecards. Sawyer had a slow start, but picked up in the final 2 rounds to finish in 7th.
I was very disappointed in the results yesterday. I shot a 16 and a 17 in the first 2 rounds. First round was really difficult, low cloud, we had a lot of rain, the stock was wet, and I did let it get me down. Then I shot a 17 and then came to the last round of the day, I was tired, I just let it go and I shot a very, very miserable 12. Came in this morning and thought, well, I'll just go for it. Shot a 19 the first round, I was quite pleased with that one, but the last round I shot a 21, so I'm really, really pleased.
Harry Murphy started and finished well, but had a low score in the middle round to finish in 5th, 6 clays away from the bronze. Island Games newcomer Daniel Bayas had an outstanding day to win individual silver in the 25-metre standard pistol event. An impressive achievement, given he only took up the sport last year.
I'm feeling very proud and very happy for the 3 medals, and happy overall with all the shoots that I've done.
And looking at your background, you are a newcomer to pistol shooting. It's all happened very quickly.
Yeah, that's right. I started very recently, about a year and a half ago, but I've been training really hard and I've been listening to Louis and Jonathan, who are very experienced, and obviously with that help and with the training that I've had, it's paid off.
You've been teaming up with Jonathan in the team events, but also a silver medal in the individual shoot. Is that extra special for you? It's won by yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Although shooting with Jonathan gives me a lot of confidence because I know he's got my back. But with individual events, it goes to show that if you train hard, it pays off.
Thursday was the day we finally saw Eloise Magnasco in action. The schedule for all shooting events across the week was at best erratic and at worst complete chaos, never more so than in the women's 10-metre air rifle event. Fewer athletes attended the Bermuda Games given the cost involved in attending an island so far away and so expensive to actually stay in, all of which meant only 2 women signed up for the event, Eloise and Jenny Gardelin of Gotland. There was talk early in the week of the event being completely scrapped before organisers suggested merging it with the men's 10-metre air rifle event and creating an open competition. Some of the male shooters made a formal protest. The idea was scrapped an hour before the event was due to start, meaning that Eloise and Gardelin would essentially have a shootout between themselves for the gold medal. Eloise won at an absolute canter, shooting a score of 381 out of 400 to Gardelin's 353, a score that would have won her the open competition as well. Gibraltar's Golden Girl was at it again, her 7th consecutive gold medal in the women's 10-metre air rifle. What a record.
Very happy to have won again. Wasn't too sure what was going to happen as there was a lot of changes to the shooting programme and they changed it literally before the match again, so quite glad it didn't put me off.
How do you feel about what went on in the build-up to the event? You were going to shoot with the women, then you were going to shoot in an open competition with the men. Actually, it was you against another woman. How did that make you feel? Did it unsettle you in any way?
It was getting a bit confusing because the men's match is different to a women's match. You do 20 extra shots, so I was prepared mentally to do a 60-shot match instead of a 40-shot match and to shoot against the men. And then last minute change, had to shoot against one other person for only 1 medal up at stake. So it was a bit tougher because in the men's event there was 3 medals, so a bit difficult.
For you personally, you shot a great score anyway, and a score that I'm sure would have won the gold regardless of how many women from the islands were competing. But does it take the sheen off for you that you only beat 1 person?
It was slightly disappointing there was no more entrants in the event, but can't do anything about that.
And for you, how many more times can you come back and win gold? Are we going to talk about maybe 10, 15 gold medals for you?
You never know, because shooting you can carry on and carry on until you're 50, so I've still got potentially another 20 years of shooting left.
there was another big medal hope back in the pool for Colin Bensadon, whose tough schedule over the week would reach a crescendo with the final of the 200-metre breaststroke. Despite clear fatigue, Colin had set a new personal best in qualifying earlier in the day and started well, keeping up with the Isle of Man's Guy Davies, Jersey's Giovanni Gararino and Luke Belton of Guernsey in the opening 50 metres. The quartet were running the show at the halfway mark as the crowd at the Bermuda Sports Centre began to get louder. Gararino had made his strength and stamina count, making his move by the 150 mark and opening up a 3-second gap, with Colin still very much in the hunt for a medal. And as they entered the final 25 metres, he held on to win a stunning bronze medal, smashing the national record by a huge 4 seconds with an incredible time of 2 minutes 22.12.
Over the moon. Tired after a long week, but over the moon. Really pleased with the whole week, not just today, but the whole week's performances.
And you won a silver 2 days ago. It's a bronze today, but in a way, maybe today's medal more gratifying for you.
Well, it was with the same guys where I came in 5th in the 100 breaststroke, just a different order. So in that sense, it's, I got one back on them. But no, it was. I mean, both medals are. I'm really happy about both of the swims. So yeah.
From the stands, looking very close between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. In the pool, were you aware of who was around you?
Yeah, I mean, I could see them off the turns. I could see, where we were more or less. But down the last 25, obviously, looking straight ahead and just going for the wall. And when I touched, I saw I was in 3rd. It was a big relief.
Was there any point where you thought, yeah, the medal's mine?
No, at all. I could see that, obviously the first place swimmer was a bit ahead, but 2nd, 3rd and 4th, we were all there, and no, I never felt like it was mine until I touched.
2 medals for you now, it's a personal best. Bermuda, a great year.
Yeah, definitely a great year in swimming and, personally as well, but I'd have to say this, but the biggest thing to come is my wedding in a couple of months' time, so if I didn't say that, I'd be in trouble.
Makes me feel very proud. It just shows that hard work, determination and the hunger of wanting something pays off, and that's calling for you.
Down the years, Joe, and your many decades involved at GASA, you've worked with some very talented swimmers. How does Colin rank in amongst those swimmers you've had the joy of working with?
Amongst the top, obviously. As I said before, he just keeps on working, never gives up, never feels down, encouraging others. He's an example for anyone.
And swimming, you've made it your life, but it can be a very lonely sport. It's you and the black line on the bottom of the pool. How difficult is it for somebody like Colin to keep coming back for so many years and try and endeavour to win that medal? It's hard work, isn't it?
It is hard work, and as you quite rightly said, it's very boring. Swimming is a boring sport because you don't talk to no one, just the odd few seconds that you have in a break. Other than that, as you said, it's meters after meters, day in, day out, black line. But as I said, you must want it, and Colin wants it, and he's still there. Hopefully he'll be there for a few more years.
I was going to ask you, how long do you think Colin can realistically go on for, and can he get even better, do you think?
For how long, it's up to him. Now comes a period in life when he's going to get married, that he's working, important commitments, but I've asked him to hold on until 2018, which is the Gold Coast, and that will make its 5th Commonwealth game, which is an achievement I don't think I'll ever see again in my lifetime.
And Joe, it's not all about Colin this week or Jim Sanderson, it's about the whole team. How are you feeling about how your squad has performed?
Oh, without a doubt, you got the young ones, the first timers. Christina this morning amazed me with a 29.07. She's just turned 30 in her first Island Games. She's been in the squad since December. Kate McCulloch, 3 PBs. Bodine, another 3 PBs. Sean, 3 PBs. Carl, everyone has performed to the best of their capability. So I'm really happy, very happy.
The final event in the pool was, as always, the centrepiece 4x100 metre freestyle relay. From the off, it was a battle between the Cayman Islands and Guernsey, the Caymans edging it by just under a second. But the Gibraltar quartet of James Sanderson, Colin Ben-Sadon, Oliver Quick and youngster Michael Hitchcock swam a great race to finish in 7th. Athletics rounded off day 5 with Geray Torres going in the final of the 200 metres. He'd come up against some pretty quick men, including defending champion Mats Bowman of Åland and Harold Houston of Bermuda, who had a personal best in the event of under 21 seconds. Seriously quick. After running a good bend on what was a fairly slow track, Geray had a great home straight to finish 7th in a time of 22.9 seconds, outside the national record he was hoping for, but certainly very respectable.
No, I feel good. I mean, this morning I felt worse because, well, apart from the conditions, I mean, it's really hot. It's not ideal for a sprint race. But yeah, running in the morning is also really tough, and I felt a lot tighter in the morning. But now in the final, first final in the Island Games, my second Island Games. And yeah, great experience. I'm still 19, so I've got the years to train and hopefully improve. But yeah, it's going to be a good experience for the future.
So, as day 5 of competition came to an end, Gibraltar had increased its medal tally to 3 gold, 4 silver and 7 bronze medals. Day 6, the final day of competition. The sailing programme was rounded up on the waters off Spanish Point. Brian Brophy and Stephen Lawson finished the week in 14th and 15th in the laser standard class. Sally Naldrett was 18th in the laser radial class, but the main plaudits were saved for 17-year-old Adam Alcantara, who was 13th in laser radial and is definitely one to watch in the future. On the shooting range, there was one final day of joy for Team Gibraltar. Luis Perez was unlucky to miss out on a medal, finishing 4th in the 25-metre sport pistol event. But there was yet more success for Jonathan Padron and Luis Baglietto, who scooped a silver and a bronze in the 25-metre centre fire individual event.
Yeah, ecstatic, very happy. It's been a great week, not just for me, for the whole shooting team. We've taken 9 medals in total, and gratefully I've got quite a few around my neck that my teammates and myself have won.
Before the games you were very optimistic of a pretty sizable haul. Is 6 over and above what you were hoping for?
I always go with the mindset that I'm going to try and win. If I don't win, I know that I've done my best. So this time we've come with a strong team. My colleagues and my other teammates they're progressing very well as well. So yeah, I was very optimistic and I thought we would do well, and we're here. Now we're here, and from the male side of the pistol shooters, everybody's going home with a minimum of 3 medals.
The Minister for Sport, Stephen Linares, was in Bermuda for the duration of the Games. He was pleased with how Team Gibraltar had fared and pledged the government's continued support for the Games.
I'm really happy because at least most of the athletes have given their best. And I think it's very important that even though they don't get medals, they give of their best. But look, if we get lots of medals like we have, even better. It's important because of the standard. This is the sort of standard that Gibraltar can cope with. And therefore, because it's a standard we can cope with, most of the athletes and sports people in Gibraltar would appreciate coming here. And as long as the Island Games Committee and Association bids in and asks for funding from government, our government certainly will help them as much as we can.
Friday was also the day the Island Games family began looking forward to its next reunion. The 2015 Games will be held in Jersey, so as is tradition, members of the 2015 organising committee hosted a reception to lay the foundations for the forthcoming Games. The wheels are already well in motion.
Awarded the bid back in 2010, and really we started work pretty quickly after that. We had a bid committee and basically retained that, and that became the organising committee. So I think we've kept the momentum going from the bid, And I think, 2 years out now, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think from an organisational perspective, we're pretty close. Some of the facilities need a little bit of work on it. Our running track, we're putting a new running track down in 2014. But, I think we know we've got a good plan, a good strategy in place. So, hopefully we're ready to go.
Attention then shifted to the National Stadium for the game's last hurrah. Temperatures were still in the 30s as runners lined up at 6 p.m. for the half marathon. Gibraltar was represented by Kelvin Gomez, Robert Mato and Richard Muscat, while Emma Montiel and Alison Edwards competed in the women's race. Conditions were far from ideal, a score of athletes retiring even before the halfway mark. Alison Edwards was less than 100% fit going into the race and abandoned, as did Emma Montiel, who won bronze in the 5,000 2 days earlier. Kelvin Gomez unfortunately failed to finish, but there were tremendous displays from Robert Mato, who was 20th, and especially from the veteran Richard Muscat, who was 9th in 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Really tired. The triathlon obviously took a bit out of me, and very warm conditions, but happy to have finished.
For you, you were a runner, a great runner years ago. You're back.
Well, it's still a long way. My first 10K were good. Then I cramped a bit. I had to stop 3 times, but my focus was to finish, and that is what I did. I picked up towards the end, so I'm quite happy.
Watching on from the side of the running track was Bermuda's premier Craig Cannonier, a larger-than-life character who, as you'll see, is a big man with a big character.
Exciting for Bermuda. It is really a time for us to talk about what makes people special, and that's coming together. It's so electrifying to have so many different islands here. We've got 22 islands here celebrating life, celebrating excellence. And this is not just about excellence in awards or championships and races. This is about excellence outside of that as well. So I'm grateful for the families from Gibraltar and other islands who have committed themselves to ensuring that their sons and daughters are here, having a great time on our beautiful shores where the sand is pink and the people are beautiful. I know you guys enjoy that. So, but this means so much to Bermuda for the first time that we're hosting this here. And I just want to say to Gibraltar once again, thank you for coming, for taking the opportunity to visit our shores. We're looking forward to you coming back to enjoy us, as a tourist outside of the games. We're just truly grateful.
The concluding event of the Games before the closing ceremony was, as always, the men's 4x4 100-metre relay. Gibraltar's quartet was young, comprising 17-year-olds Sean Collado and Carl Baldacchino, as well as 19-year-old Geray Torres, teaming up with 29-year-old veteran Dominic Carroll. Baldacchino ran the first leg, putting in a good race and keep in touch with the likes of Bermuda, Jersey and Guernsey before handing over to Geray Torres in 7th position. With the Isle of Man leading from Bermuda, Geray stayed ahead of the runner from the Western Isles and was in a tussle for 5th with both Inismon and the Shetlands. After an excellent home straight, he'd passed the baton to Sean Collado. The youngster looked composed despite the pressure of the situation, staying with the Shetlands and closing the gap on the Isle of Man on the second bend in what became a monumental battle between Jersey and Bermuda at the front. Dominic Carroll took the final leg and took the initiative, passing the Shetlands and the Isle of Man in the opening 200 metres. But injury has taken its toll on Dominic in the lead-up to Bermuda 2013, and he was then passed by both teams in the final 200 metres as Gibraltar finished in 7th, ahead of the Western Isles in a time of 3 minutes 33.52, 9 seconds behind eventual winners Jersey. For coach Avelino Baldacchino, the race and indeed the week was full of highs and lows. And while not a vintage games for local athletics, Bermuda certainly provided plenty of food for thought.
It's quite a bit of mixed bags because we had a young team. We had in the long distances we have more veteran runners. Actually, our only medal, the bronze medal, came from Emma in the 5,000, which is She's 38, so she's quite a bit of a veteran, but she did very well. And the rest, obviously, they were aiming for the PBs and trying to do the best they can, which they have achieved, really. I'm very pleased with the performance because they're giving their all.
All week, the team were keen to pay tribute great Hector Romero, a man who's devoted his entire life to athletics and was at the forefront of everyone's minds as he continues to recover from illness.
I'm very glad to mention them because Cyan Hook, for example, Gian Shapuri, they are developing athletes and they come here to do the best as a first time, and it's very important that they come even though they know they can achieve the personal best, but they've worked very hard throughout the year as well. And people that even that seem to be longer, they're still young, people like Carl Bardakino, like even Geray, Sean Collado, they've been there for a while, but they work very hard for 6 days a week throughout the year. And even though they don't have medals, they really deserve to be mentioned. And maybe people like Dominic as well, who have been longer for many island games as well, they deserve a mention as well.
Avelino, also important to remember people who can't be here, unfortunately.
Yep, our head coach Hector Romero, we have missed dearly this time round. Fortunately, he's still, and we dedicate our bronze medal to him, because I know he was very much longing for a medal after last time round. We didn't get any, but he must be very proud of his athletes that they always support him all year round, and we wish him well and hope to see him very soon with the team again.
So, as the curtain fell on the 15th NatWest Island Games, Gibraltar's medal tally stood like this: 3 gold, 5 silver and 8 bronze medals, 1 in triathlon, shooting, squash, athletics, tennis and swimming. The total of 16 equalled the haul won in the Isle of Wight 2 years ago and placed Gibraltar 12th on the medal table, which was won by the Isle of Man, who accumulated 97 medals across the week, including 36 golds. From beginning to end, the Island Games were all about fun, colour and the novelty of a new host island. And Bermuda capped the week in style as athletes across all sports came together for the closing ceremony. Gold medal winning triathlete Chris Walker was chosen as Gibraltar's flag bearer, while competitors paraded round the National Stadium not as islands, but as sports.
Linda, the games are almost over. 16 medals for Team Gib. We've done fairly well.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased. You know, we didn't know, sort of what we were going to get when we came here because there was a lot of unknowns, what other people were coming to the island. So, there's been a couple of surprises that I've been very pleased with. And yeah, over the whole, it's been really good.
First ever Island Games in Bermuda. What kind of a host do you think Bermuda's been?
Oh, I think they've been absolutely brilliant. I mean, the venues have been fantastic. We're not too bad with the transportation. Okay, there's a few issues maybe on food and expense, but apart from that, then the hosts have been incredible. People are so friendly here.
I was going to say the warmth of people here has been really kind of engaging and very welcoming, and it's added a really good ingredient to the whole recipe.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been told we're friendly. Gibraltar's always been friendly, but here, it's been fantastic. Everybody's just got involved, and it's amazing. I'm just so glad we came.
Before the athletes headed off for the traditional post-games party, it was left to the chairman of the Bermuda 2013 Organising Committee, John Beard, and the head of the International Island Games Association, Jorgen Pettersson, to call time on the Island Games.
You have surpassed our hopes and expectations. You have been superb hosts. And to our Island Games family, thank you. You have been terrific company. You face long journeys home, but know that you have made a truly positive impact on all of us. We look forward to seeing you again in Jersey. Godspeed and have a safe journey.
And so the curtain falls on the NatWest Island Games in Bermuda 2013 in what has been a remarkable week in a brand new host island, which has really embraced the entire experience. Well done to Team Gibraltar, 16 medals in total, including 3 gold medals, and the focus now will turn to Jersey in 2015. Thanks for watching and good night.
Are far behind. Here, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, birds fly, and the dreams that you dare to. Oh why can't I hide? Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me.
Bringing islands together. NatWest, sponsors of the NatWest Island Games 2013.